What's up, YouTube family? I'm back. If you're new to my channel, do me a favor, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and turn on your post notifications so you are the first to know when I post a new video. Today I'll be doing a silk press on low porosity type 4 hair. Yes, I said type 4 hair. And we're gonna get into some curl typing a little bit in this video because y'all was coming for me in the last one saying I don't see type 4 hair. Well, I'm gonna educate you just a little bit more. For those that don't like my talking and say I talk too much in the videos, that's fine. If you're here to just watch, hit that mute button and enjoy the picture. But if you're here to learn, turn that volume up, get your notepad out, and let's go. Okay, first thing we're going to do is go in. I always do a scalp analysis. Okay, I check to see what's going on with my client's scalp because healthy hair starts there. This particular guest says she always has flaking and she says she has dry scalp and she's been using Head and Shoulders at home. No shade to Head and Shoulders, but it's not formulated for what she needs it to do. She does not have dandruff. She does not have dry scalp. She has an overactive scalp. The scalp starts to shed skin layers because there's oil trapped underneath. Okay, so the best thing to do is exfoliate, and I do not mean with the comb, I mean with the solution. Okay, the comb, it feels great and because you're scratching an itch, but it actually can inflame and damage the scalp and eventually lead to scarring. So you want to avoid that as much as possible. I know it's tempting to go in and lift those flakes off. If you have to do it very gently, but do not scratch the scalp. I repeat, do not scratch the scalp. All right, this particular product that I'm using is by Mizani. It's our exfoliating pre-treatment. Its active ingredient is salicylic acid. All right, it does an amazing job at dissolving dead skin cells and removing that buildup prior to shampooing. Okay, it goes on dry. If you need to mist the ends for detangling purposes, you can do that, but go ahead and apply this directly to the scalp. Unfortunately, it is not available for retail. It's only available for stylists because it does have a very powerful active ingredient. Okay, you don't want you using this at home. It's a salon treatment. All right, but it does its job. Now, starting the shampoo process, you'll see with low porosity hair, guys, it's very important that you take your time and saturate the hair. All right, saturate with water. The hair has a very tight cuticle layer and you want to open that cuticle layer up with warm water and let the water start to do the work. Water is going to cleanse and water is going to hydrate. One of the biggest myths I see in the natural hair care industry right now is we're using tons of oils and butters and all that, and that's good. It gives the hair slip, it gives the hair manageability, but it is not moisture. Do not confuse the two. Hydration comes from water. It does not come from product. Again, hydration comes from water. Everything else attaches to that water molecule and helps it sit inside the hair shaft to maintain its moisture. Okay, those things maintain moisture. They seal in moisture or they seal moisture out, but they do not moisturize the hair. Well, Trav, my hair feels soft if I use it. Yes, because it's coated. Okay, you have a coating on the hair shaft now that will make the hair appear and feel soft, which is fine. You need that, especially when you're working with textured hair. But be careful that if you do not remove those products properly and you do not clarify the hair in the scalp, it will result in buildup and it'll start to have an adverse effect because it will block out the moisture, water that needs to get inside the hair shaft. Okay, wet, 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 wet. Saturate the hair with water, and you can see on her first shampoo I get a lather. Why? Because the water has done its job of buffering off a lot of that buildup and the product off of the hair shaft. Okay, so saturate the hair. When you're at the shampoo bowl, if the hair is still expanded and still filling up the shampoo bowl and still in its dry natural state and that water is beating off of it, it has not properly accepted the water. Keep going. Wet it down until it's saturated. The thing about low porosity hair is resistant to product and it is resistant to water. It typically beads off. Okay, but take your time. Anyway, as I apply the shampoo, I apply it to the center of the head and the top and the back. Shampoo needs to hit everything. On clients with dense hair, most of the time the middle gets missed. And that's the part when you go to blow dry, you have all that smoke and it's a different color smoke. You know when the hair is dirty and it has a scent. Okay, nobody wants that. Make sure you get the hair clean. Ain't nothing like blow drying dirty hair. It's not okay. And on top of that, you're frying those natural oils into the hair shaft. Okay, so make sure you cleanse it thoroughly. You know, if you've seen my previous videos, I always start with a clarifying shampoo. Don't care who it is. I'm going to clarify the hair and get everything out. I'm going to set the hair up for success. What this also does, clarifying shampoos have chelators and they start to open up that cuticle gently so the hair can accept water and the moisturizing agents that come into conditioning. All right. So again, I'm going to repeat this process. I'm going to rinse her shampoo out and start all over again. I do this 3 times. For 90% of my guests, they're getting shampooed 3 times. All right, I need to remove everything out. I want to start with a clean canvas. Very, very important. Take your time at the bowl. Do not rush this process. This is the most important process. I don't know what this trend is in the industry right now where people can show up to the salon with pre-wash hair and we go right in and start blow drying and pressing and braiding and all that stuff. I'm a little old school, new school. I believe in a good shampoo. Sorry, not sorry. We're going to wash your hair, period. Now for braiders, I can make that exception. I know that, you know, time is of the essence, and for the most part we're not doing extreme you know, heat or anything like that. We're just braiding the hair. Again, you want to make sure you're going to someone that's going to take care of your hair and your scalp. Okay, it matters. Take your time and cleanse that hair. On top of that, we cannot see what's going on with the hair when it's in its dry state when you come in the salon. I need it wet. I need to see how it responds to water. That tells me about its porosity. That tells me about your curl pattern. That tells me about density. It also tells me what the hair needs. Is it is the elasticity shot? Is the porosity shot? Is it broken? Is it weak? It tells me all this when water gets in the hair. You see the hair at its best and at its worst when the hair is wet. I need to see what it's capable of. I need to know what kind of heat I'm going to use. How's my blow dry process going to be? What I need to treat it with. You learn all this at the shampoo ball. This is the most important time of the service, okay? So we can't continue to skip over this. Let's get back to textbook, sanitation 101 and cleansing 101, okay? This is where you learn about the hair and the scalp at the bowl. Don't skip it, all right? So I'm rinsing out my second shampoo here. Rinse, 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 rinse. Take your time, open the hair up, get to the center, get to the back, get all that shampoo and that product out, okay? It's very important. If you still feel residue, go in again. If you gotta do a fourth shampoo, go in again. It matters. Make sure that guest leaves the bowl fully set up for a successful silk press service or whatever you're doing, okay? All right, after I get this rinse, I'm gonna move on to my conditioning process. I use a lot of conditioner. I make sure I start at the ends and the hair is soaking wet, okay? Water is the carrier. It's going to help the conditioner get where it needs to go. So take your time and make sure the hair is soaking wet and apply your conditioner, okay? Start at the root, work my way all the way down to the tip, okay? Once I've got that emulsified, I'll go in and start detangling. You know, my favorite tool of choice when I detangle is some kind of a brush. I'm not in favor of the wide tooth comb only because it skips over the tiny micro tangles and the single strand knots that I need to make sure get out, okay? If not, it makes for a very painful blow dry process, okay? And because I've been detangling the entire time I've been shampooing, at this point detangling is easy. You'll see my brush literally glides right through it. Glides right through without an issue. We've been detangling the whole time, so my fingers in essence while I'm shampooing will work like that wide tooth comb to get out all the big stuff. My brush comes in then to get out all those micro tangles and those single strand knots. So take your time, section by section, don't miss nothing, don't rush. I know this video is sped up so it looks like I'm going much faster than I am, but I took my time, okay? This also will start to show you the hair's curl pattern. While I'm detangling, I get to see everything that's going on with the hair. I get to see the density, and it also tells me about those ends. For a client that has not had a trim in a while, I can see that at the shampoo bowl. The ends either won't define, they'll snag, and it tells me how far up those split ends go, okay? Moving on, keep working that conditioner in. Take your time, make sure the hair is fully coated with conditioner. With low porosity hair, it's actually very important, and I'm gonna say something that's completely adverse to what I've been seeing in some YouTube videos from, you know, the natural community. You need heavily water-based conditioners. The reason why I say that is the molecules are much smaller and easier to penetrate the hair shaft. You do not want conditioners to sit on top. It does nothing on top of the hair. A soft cuticle don't benefit nobody, okay? It's the inside of the hair shaft that's where we want to get that moisture. So really loose to creamy consistency conditioners, because they're going to do their job, okay? And you can see her hair is already starting to absorb it. Work it in, take your time. Right here, I'm just feeling the hair. I want to see what the ends are like. I'm testing elasticity. Again, all this is learned at the shampoo bowl. You cannot skip this process, guys. I don't know how we got into the industry where we are and we're not taking the time at the shampoo bowl. It's not a quick service. It's not something just to get through. This is important, okay? Take your time. Feel the hair, feel the density. And I'm talking to my client during this part. I'm educating about her hair, letting her know what I come across, what I feel, what I see, what I know. I'm letting her know that, and we're tweaking her regimen. The whole appointment is a consultation in essence. We're tweaking her regimen at home, telling her about her curl pattern, her density, what she needs to adjust. Also very important. Okay, so after I've gotten this conditioner on, I'm actually going to put her under a hooded dryer for about 15 minutes. Sometimes I alternate between my hooded dryer and my steamer. It just depends on what I want to achieve. I know that her hair is low porosity, and as you can see, after she comes out, her hair has not been rinsed. It has not been rinsed. The conditioner has been completely absorbed. This is what you want. This is what you want, guys. The conditioning agents are inside her hair shaft. Boom, just like that. They're inside. Her hair has not touched water since I put the conditioner on it. It sucked up that water and that conditioner. This is what you want. I know this is like, well, it looks like ain't nothing on there. It's not supposed to be. All right, moving on. So we rinse the conditioner out. I've already sectioned her hair and I'm about to blow dry. So when I'm working with dense hair and I'm about to blow dry, of course I section everything, but what I also will do is put it in a 2-strand twist, and I will start to clip those out of the way. It keeps me down to 1 clip on the head the whole time, so I don't have a whole bunch of clips going around. Everything is secured in that 1 clip up top by those 2-strand twists. You know my blow dry method. If you don't, check out one of my previous videos, but I believe in stretching the hair. And at Mizani, we teach tension and heat must meet. I am a tension blow dryer. That means I need a brush that's gonna give me tension, and I need the heat from my blow dryer, okay? That's where I get the best results. Remember, you're trying to chemically alter the state, temporarily of course, of the hair shaft. You do that by stretching those bonds out, okay? As I'm stretching her hair, the hydrogen bond is being reformed and those other bonds are forming around it, okay? Stretch the hair out. You need tension. What this also does is create low manipulation, so you don't see my brush passing through the hair over and over and over again. You beat the hair up that way. Stretch it out first, dry it completely, and then you can go in and start manipulating it. It's very important. Also, if you're working with dealing with the porosity, if you're working with high porosity hair, it's best to use medium heat at first, because you don't want the hair to dry before you get it straight. That's the other thing. If you're using an extremely hot blow dryer, you're gonna dry the hair out into a big frizz ball before it ever gets straight, because you haven't had a chance to stretch it out. So the heat's gonna dry the hair, but you haven't got a chance to stretch it. It's gonna result in a frizzy silk press, or you may get it silk pressed out, but you're gonna burn it up at the same time, because you have to use more work from that flat iron, okay? So for high porosity hair, turn the heat down. As you move to medium porosity hair, you can go up to high heat. Low porosity hair, high heat as well. Reason why I say that, with low porosity hair, the heat's not penetrating yet. By the time I've gotten it dry, it's gonna be just where I want it, okay? So my dryer is on high heat. I do oscillate when I get closer to the roots. You can't see my thumb moving here. My thumb's like a little trigger finger. But as I move up close to the scalp, I typically would turn my heat down on my dryer, because I don't need a whole lot of heat up there. My goal at that point is to dry the roots, stretch them out. The hair is very malleable up there, so I don't wanna put too much heat up there. Also, I don't wanna burn my client. I said in my last videos, burns are not normal, and it's uncomfortable. Who want to be burned? Nobody got time for that. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. All right. So I'm working through the hair, blow drying section by section. I work in small sections. I never just dive in, okay? Don't just dive in. You're going to get lost in it. You're going to have inconsistent results, okay? Take your time. Now, when I get through a large section of hair, what I always do is go back. Sometimes water from the previous section will drip down, and you'll end up with a wet section at the back or the bottom or around the face. Go in on medium heat or cool and just blow dry that scalp to make sure you got all that moisture out, because what will happen is, as she sits and you're working on other sections, the previous sections will start to revert. You know why? Because you left moisture in the hair shaft and on the scalp, and that's going to equal reversion. We don't want that. I forgot to mention, I did apply my heat protectants prior to putting her hair in the twist and sectioning it out. I used my 25 Miracle Milk by Mizani, as well as my Smooth Guard serum. And when I go to press, I actually apply a little bit more of that serum just before I start to press. But those are the only 2 products I use throughout this whole process, okay? Now, don't be alarmed. I said it before in my previous videos. If you see fumes or smoke coming off of your blow dryer, it's actually steam, okay? There's a difference between smoke and steam. Usually steam is translucent or white in color. If you see blue colored smoke or gray colored, that's a sign something is burning, whether that be product or whether that be the hair shaft itself. It's very unlikely that it's from that the hair is actually burning through a blow dry process, unless you like physically holding the dryer in place on a section of hair. It's very unlikely. Most heat damage occurs from the flat iron, okay? So don't be alarmed if you see some steam. It's just water leaving the hair shaft as well as the product, okay? Going in now with my flat iron. I have my flat iron set to 410 degrees. Yes, 410. I'm using high heat. I'm not at 450, I'm at 410. Seldom do I go to 450 unless I'm doing a sew-in or a weave and I'm using that on extensions and I want a bone straight. Besides that, I'm using a 410 guy, anywhere between 370 and 410 depending on the density and the hair type, okay? Let's talk about hair typing. It's a headache for me, okay? You know why? We cannot fit 6 billion people into 4 hair types. I know that the hair chart has been innovative and it's really helped in terms of product knowledge and helped in some ways clients decide what products works best for their hair type. But, and I say but strongly, again, everyone is not fit in those 4 categories, and there are more important things than curls, okay? Yes, I said that. There are more important things than curls. You have to look at density, porosity. Is the hair chemically treated? Is the hair fine? Is it medium? Is it coarse? All those things go into play when it comes to choosing product. And curl type is the last thing I'm considering usually when a client gets in my chair. Now, I will use curl typing on my channel just for ease of recognition when you guys click on the video. But please believe I've taken about 90% more things into context when I'm styling the hair and when I'm choosing my products, my heat settings, my shampoos and conditioners. I'm thinking about other things besides curl type, because if you build a regimen based off curl type, you'll end up in disappointment and end up with thousands of products in your cabinet. I see it all the time. People have a whole stockpile or a beauty supply store in their bathroom from all the products they bought and didn't work. Why? Because you bought products based on curl type and not based on your texture type. Okay, texture type characteristics matter when it comes to porosity. You're gonna hear me throw that word out 10 million times in this video because it's so important. Porosity, hair diameter, and hair texture. Is it coarse? Is it fine? Is it medium? Those are the things that count, because you can have type 4 hair but have low porosity, or you can have type 4 hair and have high porosity, and the conditioner that worked on the other might not work on this one. Okay, so you have to take that in consideration. All right, low porosity hair tends to give a very dense shine, a very high intensity shine, because the cuticle layers are so tight, and you know when you got them smooth, you'll see that shine come on the hair. Now the thing about low porosity products, again, I stated at the shampoo bowl, conditioners sit on top. Okay, so you want to use a creamy or watery or water-based conditioner because it's going to penetrate that hair shaft batter and put it under some heat. Okay, so again, texture type is not so much of the importance here. I'm not really worried about whether she's type 4, 3C, 3B, whatever. Okay, everybody doesn't fit on that chart. And on her head alone, I found 4 different types. And mind you, she doesn't put a lot of heat on her hair. She hasn't had it professionally trimmed in, I think, a little over a year. So you can see it really doesn't go into play here. She has 4 different textures. In the middle of her head, she had a 4B, almost to a zigzag. The bottom was like a 4A. The middle and the top was 3C and some 3B. So again, I can't build a whole product regimen based off her curl type. I have to look at everything. One thing I can say, her porosity was consistent the whole way around. While her curl wasn't, her porosity was. All right, so just remember that curl typing is not the end all be all. It's not the holy grail. You gotta look at the other things. All right, so it's trim time. Now I actually slowed this portion down for you guys so you can see the full trim. She has not had her hair professionally trimmed, and I think she said a little over a year. She's been snipping at home, little things she would find, but she hasn't had someone go in and trim the whole thing in over a year. So you can see her ends a little split, about 2 inches up. Now again, this part I actually consult the whole way through. I never just start cutting. This has led to so much trauma with guests in people's chair because people have just started cutting and you haven't notified them. Yes, they may have need 5 inches cut off, but that's jarring to some people. Communicate, okay? 9 times out of 10 they'll go along with what you want or what you advise, but even if they don't, cut what they want to cut off. If they only want an inch cut off, or they only want it dusted, do your job and just dust it, period. It leads to a return client and it builds trust. Okay, so when I do say I need to do something drastic, they trust me. All right, they know I'm not just making a decision because I'm just scissor happy. And now, do I believe in scissor happy hairstylists? No, people aren't just cutting your hair for thrills and they just get some, adrenaline rush out of cutting your hair. They're just doing what they think is best, honestly. But what's best and what's communicated are 2 different things. I'll say that again. What's best and what's communicated are 2 different things. What's communicated is the way to go. Okay, period. All right, so going in and establishing my length, I use my chair as a guide here because that's where I saw that line starting to form. Now, could I have trimmed higher? Yes. But again, I don't like to jar my clients, and I know what's necessary. I trimmed off what was absolutely necessary to come off, and what I do is build a trim regimen. So most of my guests get trimmed every 3 to 4 months. Yes, I know I don't follow the 6 to 8 week rule. I don't ever plan to follow it because your hair grows in different phases. You have anagen, telogen, and catagen. At one point your hair is growing, at one point your hair is resting, at another point your hair is shedding. Okay, so you have to take that in consideration. At any point she could be in one of those phases, and I don't want to just cut just for the sake of cutting. All right, so I usually build out a regimen custom to each client. So for her, I suggested she come back in 2 to 2.5 months, a little faster than normal, so I can get some more of those dead ends off and prevent them from further splitting up the shaft. And then as time goes on, I get a healthy head of hair, we will move up and start stretching that time out. Okay, if you don't trim the ends on time, the danger in that is the hair starts to split up the shaft and you'll end up with a head full of split ends. Literally. So no matter how much you trim or how much you condition, the hair just won't style right, the ends won't curl right, she'll have trouble with maintaining the style, it'll frizz out easily just because you literally have a head full of ends. All right, so trim on time, get a professional, stick to a regimen. It matters. You can't condition split ends. I'm sorry, they have to be cut off. The only treatment for a split end is the scissors. All right, you have to cut it off. The proper term for it is hair trichoptilosis, and if you read up on it, they say the only treatment is to cut it, period. cut it off. It's okay. It's gonna grow back and you experience more length retention. Some of the biggest issues I see with guests when they say my hair has always been this length, it won't stretch out past this point. I ask, well, how often are you getting trimmed? And usually they say, well, I haven't had a trim in a year. I'm like, that's probably why. And the fear is that if I trim my hair, I'm going to lose length. And immediately, yes, you will lose a couple of inches, but in the long run, you're going to gain so much more length because your ends will not split up the shaft. So you will retain the length that you're getting. Also, I want to speak to this when it comes to hair supplements. And I know we've been inundated with biotin and you know, hair supplements and this, that, and the third. There is nothing that can change the biological clock or your genetics that can make your hair grow faster, okay? You cannot make your hair grow faster. What you can do is help your hair grow healthier, okay? And that starts with diet. Boom. I know y'all don't like that word, diet. Yes, I said that. If you're eating the wrong things, your hair is going to show it, okay? You cannot just eat trash and eat junk and expect your hair to flourish, okay? It needs water, it needs nutrients, it needs vitamins. The truth be told, your body typically has all the biotin it needs because your hair actually uses biotin for a few other things, including digestion. So when you take those supplements, if you have a deficiency in another area, your body's gonna send that supplement to whatever area it feels needs it the most, and usually that's not hair. Hair is considered a waste product from the body, okay? So it's dead last on the totem pole to get nutrients, all right? And you can't treat it from the outside. You can help to maintain it from the outside, but you cannot do anything to alter the state of the hair once it's been altered after it's left your scalp, okay? All right, so the supplements, good stuff, but just make sure you're balancing out with a diet. Otherwise, you're not going to see the result you want, or it'll be a quick result and it won't last, okay? You can't override your biological clock. You can't make it do something it doesn't want to do. Very important, all right? Get it trimmed on time, get a good regimen at home for hydration and treating it, and you're going to see some good length results and some length retention, okay? And the goal is healthy hair. It's not just length, it's healthy hair. I can't tell you how many guests I see that have a head full of hair that just needs to be cut off only because it's not healthy, all right? And you can't change it sometimes after the fact. It's an ongoing process. All right, so just trimming here, I lift up. I'm not layering her hair per se. I'm trimming it in its natural state. So you notice I don't lift anything super high. I'm lifting it out at natural elevations. I don't want to change the shape of her curls when she goes back to curling. Now, I know I post a lot of silk presses on here, and I'm going to start to alter that soon. You'll see some curly styles and some other things come into play. But usually by the time my guest gets to me for a maintenance appointment, they usually want it straight. So that's usually what I film. But most of my guests are natural. I have a handful of relaxed clients, and those relaxed clients that I do have usually have short hair. Now that I'm anti-relaxer because I still like them, they do their job. And for a client that has, you know, a very hectic lifestyle that needs low maintenance, or what I consider hair illiterate, they don't want to take care of their hair at home, they don't want to have to do nothing but wrap it, a relaxer may be the way to go. But most of my guests are natural, okay? And they have all their curls. They come in where they want it trimmed or they want a silk press, but for the most part during the week, they're wearing it curly, okay? So she'll be able to successfully go back to a curly style when this is over. All right, so my trim is complete. I'm going to go in now and restyle. I have turned my irons down for styling, and I've also misted her hair with an anti-humidity holding spray by Mizani, okay? It's called HRM. Write that down. HRM will be your best friend when you're styling. It's also going to help block out any moisture from the environment. Now, we are in the winter, so there's not a whole lot of precipitation in the air out here. It's usually pretty dry in the winter time, which is why you see dry scalps and usually dry hair, because there's so much such a lack of moisture in the air. But the spray does still help me style, and it helps leave a nice shine on the hair. That shine is real. It's not just light. What I've done with my lights around my station, I try to mimic daylight as best as possible because I do a lot of color and I need to see the color for what it is. So I have my station almost kind of like daylit. So this is actually what her hair would look like outside in the daylight. That shine is real, and that's the sign of a closed cuticle, okay? If you're working hard with the iron, it's usually a sign that you have not properly closed that cuticle between the conditioning process and the blow dryer, all right? You want that cuticle sealed down. And heavy products won't do it. They'll give you a temporary shine, but they'll start to make the hair feel weighted down and eventually dry. I can't tell you how many clients that say, I use so much oil on my hair, but my hair is still dry. Yes, because oil is not moisture, okay? You cannot hydrate the hair with oil. You can seal in moisture, all right? You can tell people I said that. Boom. That's for the lock method, all that other good stuff, okay? Whatever you want to call it, lock, or, you know, liquid oil cream, this, that, and the third, you need water, all right? Water, and then after water comes an oil or a cream to seal in that moisture, all right? And you know this is my favorite part, the comb out. Yes, the comb out. Look at it, y'all. Look at the shine. It's real. It's real. She loved her hair. She loved the way it felt. She loved the way it moved. And I'm 100% positive when she washes it, it's going to revert. You got to know the hair inside and out. And this is a monumental difference from how we started. Her hair is hydrated, it's bouncy, it's lightweight, it doesn't smell burnt, it doesn't feel burnt, she doesn't have any burns. All right, and she has all her length. Her hair looks extremely healthy. She was super happy with it. She's also a fellow YouTuber. I'm going to tag her down below. She's chronicling her relaxed and natural journey, so check her out in the description box below and follow her journey. But her hair looks great. Okay, I didn't use any edge control this particular time. I love the way her edges, you just flow naturally. It looks great. Okay, so check her out. She loved her hair, and I'm giving her some at-home tips about how to wrap it, how to pin curl. When you're pin curling, and you'll see me do it, when you pick the hair up, don't wrap it around your finger. That usually going to set the hair in another shape. Just use your fingers and rake through the hair. The hair will usually gather and form one curl, and then pick that one curl up and pin it in place. They don't have to be super neat. They don't have to be super tight to the hair, but you see my hand just pulling through. It'll form one curl. Pick it up from the bottom and just pin it in place. She'll probably do 5 giant pin curls across her whole head, tie it up with her scarf or her satin bonnet, take it out in the morning, brush it back away from the face, and go. And that's it. Resist the urge to wrap it around your finger. It's going to form a new curl, and you end up looking like Curly Sue in the morning, and it's something different, okay? So just gently pick it up, put it in place. But that's it. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and comment. I love your questions. I love the dialogue. It's good, guys. I love this channel, and I love my fans, all right? I'm out.